Meta is laying off 20% of their workforce this year, and the first round of these layoffs are planned for May 20th. Guys, this will not be a small adjustment here in May. They plan to lay off 8,000 employees. That's 10% of their staff. And look, this should not be a surprise. If you've been subscribed to the channel, you would have seen this coming. We've been covering all the big layoffs, the impacts, how to stay relevant, respected, financially free. So again, if you've been subbed, this would not be a surprise. But listen to this. This is not going to actually be the end. There are more layoffs planned for the second half of this year. So we're going to see 8,000 here in May and probably another 8,000 more. But the specifics of the second layoff are less clear because executives are, quote, observing developments in AI capabilities, end quote. Guys, this AI is just changing the way that we operate in the world. And, it's funny to me when I see people in the comments, sad actually, when I see people in the comments saying, well, AI is just a scapegoat and nobody cares. And guys, wake up, wake up. You got to wake up. I mean, every day AI is doing new things in the world. And I'm not just speculating or hypothesizing here. I'm looking at what it's doing for me in the companies that I work with and my workflows, but every person I speak to that's a business owner these days is just like gushing over what they've just recently done with AI. It's crazy. It's so crazy. I mean, to me, the AI haters out there have either not used AI at any time in the recent past or just have never used it before and refused to use it, which, if that's your stance, mazel tov, but holy cow, it is very, very powerful. And listen, Meta is not the only company that is taking this action. A few days ago, we covered Snap, which is the parent company for Snapchat. Guys, they are laying off over 1,000 people, and they are already using AI to write 65% of their code base. 65% of their code base is AI written. That is insane. You can check out that whole video here where we go into more detail on that. But guess what? There's more. Amazon recently fired 30,000 corporate employees. These are not warehouse workers that are being replaced by robots. We've covered that in the past. These are white-collared corporate employees sitting in their desks. 10% of that workforce gutted. We covered that also. You can check out that video here. So the statistics are clear. AI is cleaning up shop and changing the way that the workforce operates. So far this year, we've seen over 73,000 tech jobs cut compared to 124,000 for all of last year. But get this, during the month of March, 25% of layoffs were directly attributed to AI. So 1 in 4 employees was laid off in March because of AI, because the company said, we're gonna actually see if we can do these tasks and these jobs with AI. But listen, the reality is it might not be possible. The reality is these companies might overshoot. They might realize, ooh, you know what? We kind of jumped the gun here and, AI is not acting as reliably or responsibly or predictably as we may have hoped. And we need to hire back Fred from accounting and Karen from HR. We need Karen back. We're falling apart without Karen. What will we do without Karen over in HR telling us to be on time? What are you gonna do without Karen, guys? You need Karen back in the office. AI cannot replace Karen. All right, enough with Karen. Companies just kind of have this vision for a different type of business model. And I'm kind of here for it. As a small business owner myself, I'm working with smaller teams. Some team, like one team, I got 20 different employees that I'm working with. Another team, 6 or 7. And there's different sizes of teams, and I'm here for it. If I can use AI to be more effective, I'm absolutely here for it. And by the way, every company that I'm working with now is kind of following this model. But hold that thought for a moment. Hold that for a moment. The reality is, at least over at Meta, executives envision a future of fewer management layers and greater efficiency brought on by AI workers, especially AI agent workers. And I've talked about this before, guys. 2026 is the year where we stop looking at AI as a tool and we start looking at AI as an actual employee, as an actual assistant, as an actual business entity that can get work done. Every business owner, by the way, that I know shares the same vision. And the But, the dream has different degrees to it, right? There's different levels to it. Will we see AGI, where AI just knows and understands everything about your business, and if you just send it a quick voice message, it gets everything done? It just knows what you need. It understands your business. It understands your consumer, your customer. It reads through all of your charts, your graphs. It's in your CRM. It understands all the data, all the analytics. It can pull all of your social media posts, and it's up on all the latest Google trends. It is this master employee that knows everything and can get everything done. And in fact, it probably can run the business better than you. Is that what we're going to? Where humans aren't needed for anything? These AI agents just run everything with this artificial general intelligence? Maybe. The other side of the coin is AI is a useful tool. It can't handle all the tasks in your organization. However, it can replace a bunch of tasks in your organization, but it needs that human conductor to make sure that it functions properly. So maybe 20 to 30% of your staff, 40%, maybe even 50% of your staff is let go, and the remaining tasks are completed by these AI agents that support the remaining human beings. I will say, just as a quick side note, one of the biggest challenges, I think one of the biggest skill sets in kind of moving this model is the idea of context switching, because these AI agents are if you're sending out these AI agents, they're bringing you back results. You're constantly switching between topics in your mind. It's very difficult as a human being to switch tasks and task categories very quickly. Like, for example, if I'm working with one client on a blog over here, and then I'm working with one client on ads over here, and one of my AI agents is doing DM campaigns, like constantly context switching is just very difficult for the human brain. So being able to do that quickly and efficiently, I think, is going to be an important skill if we are in this future where you're assigning these AI agents to go complete tasks. They come back to report to you, and you're just constantly kind of like acting as a kind of like a micromanager for these AI agents. Personally, I kind of see this like hybrid vision where we humans use AI to take care of mundane tasks, some of which can just be done automatically, and some of which are going to require us as the manager to kind of serve as a conductor. I like the term conductor. We're a conductor. Just an example here, yesterday, I had Claude Cowork go into my Gmail account and draft responses to sponsorship requests. I think I have like almost 200 sponsorship requests in my Gmail inbox that I haven't gotten into. And what Claude did is it went in and it drafted a custom response. I just asked it to go through the first 10 just to kind of test it out. It went through the first 10 emails and it drafted responses that were custom to each company. And they were excellent. They were excellent. It wasn't able to attach my media deck to there, so I had to go in and manually add my media deck. But out of those 10, I've already gotten 3 responses back from these sponsors, and I'm in talks for additional sponsors for the YouTube channel here. And by the way, it would not be possible without you guys watching and engaging and actually enjoying the content. And I want to make sure I bring on the right sponsors, but it takes me a long time to prepare these videos, to study for these videos, and frankly, I just love doing it. But in any event, bringing on sponsors to help support the channel and dedicate more time and energy and resources to it would be a positive thing, at least in my mind. But regardless, if I can bring on sponsors paying $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 a month, then let's go. It means we can just focus on better and more comprehensive content. In any event, that's just a quick example of how Claude Cowork was able to just go out, complete a task, come back and say, boss, I'm done. And I can say, okay, cool, push it out. And the more trust I get with Claude in its ability to complete these tasks, at some point, I might be able to remove myself completely. It can just manage my entire Gmail inbox. And Lord only knows that managing your inbox is a pain in the butt. So training an AI agent to do that seems like a W, no? Another task I had Claude, and we're using Opus 4.7 yesterday, I had Claude go into a Google Ads account for a client and set up a new wave of YouTube ads. I talked about this yesterday. I wanted to report back on this. It was able to get me about 50% of the way there. So it was able to kind of like set up the campaign, set up the ad groups, but it was having a real problem organizing the ads themselves. So basically I had this structured is I had again, one ad campaign for YouTube, and then 4 different ad groups. So each ad group was optimized per location. We had one location for the US, UK, Canada, and Germany. Those are like that's where our ideal customers live. That's where our ICP is. In any event, it was able to set up the ad groups and label them, but it just could not get, because in each location, we want the ads to kind of speak directly to that audience. So in Canada, it'll say like, hey, if you're a Canadian Amazon seller, check this out. If you're a UK Amazon seller, check this out. And it got to this point where it was like so much back and forth, just trying to get it to update all the ad copy, that eventually I was like, hey, I'm just burning too many tokens. I can actually probably complete the rest of it. So I would say overall, it probably saved me about an hour of work setting things up. Now I just need to go in and finish the remainder. It'll take me about an hour, and then I just want to kind of double check the work. But from what I could see, it did quite a good job of getting things started. And at least for me, with a lot of tasks that I'm testing, it's kind of a matter of seeing like, well, what is it capable of doing without going bonkers or requiring a lot of human handling? Anyway, I digress. I think that's interesting, and I just wanted to share those personal anecdotes of what's kind of possible and what I'm using. And I'm doing a lot of different things with Claude Cowork, but I just wanted to share those specific examples from testing out Opus 4.7 yesterday. Again, if you're subbed to the channel, if you're watching the videos, I'm kind of sharing exactly what I'm doing, what's working, what's not working on the channel on a daily basis. 6 days a week, fresh videos, guys. So make sure you are subbed. Anyway, it looks like Meta's move right now is to flatten the organization and cut out middle management. Remove the bloat, remove the layers of bureaucracy that slow things down. Pretty normal stuff, and be AI centered. Do you really need all these middle managers when the top executives can use AI and AI agents and then distribute that down to the workers, and the workers are using AI agents and AI tools? That is the vision of what we've got here. Additionally, these tech companies, though, are freezing hiring at lower levels. So I don't know exactly how this even looks from a career ladder standpoint. Like the entry level of the career ladder is just being completely gutted right now. Just don't know exactly what that's going to look like. It makes me question, does it really make sense to go to a university at this point? And by the way, I saw a post from a friend of mine the other day. He does AI education, and he was doing his big workshop for $27, and there were upsells. Like, it's a pretty common money model in the marketing world that you sell someone something cheap and then you layer on a value stack of additional things they can purchase. It's pretty common. Anyway, someone got really upset at them for doing that. And it's like, okay, yeah, no, you shouldn't, really the only way to learn is by spending tens of thousands or maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars on a university education, taking out big student loans. That's the only way to learn these days, guys. It's so tired. It's so tired. Anyway, going back to Meta, the one exception at their company, which I think is interesting, is for AI talent. They're kind of cut down for everything except for AI talent. And they recently reorganized their entire Reality Labs division, which is a big part of their metaverse project, and moved those engineers into applied AI organizational spots. Everything is AI at these big tech companies. And again, that is where things are going. That's what we can expect for all small businesses, my opinion. Every company wants agentic AI. More tasks being completed by AI agent employees. 2026, guys, is the year where AI stops being a tool and it starts being an assistant, it starts being an employee, it starts actually controlling your computer and completing tasks. If you're not on board with that, you are effectively a dinosaur. You are using a typewriter in a world where everyone is using computers. You are sending faxes when everybody is using email. Period. Full stop. You are burning CDs when everyone is just popping open Spotify. By the way, have you ever burned a CD before? Where are my millennials at and Gen Xers that have burned CDs? My son the other day was asking me about laptops. He's like, Dad, when you were growing up, how big was your laptop? Like, son, we didn't have laptops. We had computers, and they were the size of boxes, and they were very heavy. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, what about your cell phone? I'm like, bro, we didn't have cell phones. We had corded phones, and you could only walk 6 feet from the phone in order to talk. It's crazy times. Where are my boys at to remember that? Anyway, let me clarify something though. It's just my opinion, because I think there's a lot of people out there that just think that these companies are evil or hateful or just don't like humans. And I don't really see that as the way. And again, because I'm a business owner myself, I talk to a lot of business owners. These companies don't hate humans. And it's not just happening at these top companies. AI agents and AI task completions is happening at every company, at every level. And at least a lot of the business owners I feel that I talk to, they're either sad they have to lay off employees or they are finding ways to slot them into other parts of the organization. It's really important. At the end of the day though, guys, I do think that AI is a really cool technology. It's gonna open up a lot of opportunities for guys like us that are learning and leveraging these tools to remain relevant, respected, and financially free. Guys, the opportunity is out there. I know it's a tough time. I hear you, I see you. There are gonna be opportunities. I choose to see the world as the glass half full. I choose to see it, I manifest it, if that makes sense. Anyway, if you liked the video today, guys, smash the like button. Check out yesterday's video where we talk about Claude Opus 4.7. We're gonna not get it too technical, but this is the latest LLM model version from Anthropic's Claude. It is taking the world by storm, not necessarily always for the right reasons. Some good, some bad. Check out yesterday's video and you can learn all about it. All right, guys, see ya, peace.